Hi, my name is Lori Coward, and I'll be recording my facility security plan for my facility security final. Parts of this plan are factual and based on information gleaned from the National Museum of American History and the Smithsonian Institute, while other parts are purely fictional and made up. Let's begin. The National Museum of American History Facility Security Plan Briefing, written on October the 1st, 2022 by Lori Coward. Introduction. This facility security plan outlines the procedures and measures employed by the National Museum of American History to address security needs at various risk levels and respond effectively during instances when undesirable events occur. In addition, this document contains a wealth of information unique to this facility and its occupants that should be used in conjunction with the occupant emergency plan. Facility profile. The National Museum of American History is located on 1300 Constitution Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C. on the National Mall. On average, 11,000 people visit the brick and glass structure daily. Facility type, single tenant and special use. Single tenant in that it fits the definition, a facility that only includes one federal tenant or multiple components of the same federal department or agency that fall under one umbrella for security purposes. Special use in that it follows the definition, an entire facility or space within a facility that contains environments, equipment, or data normally not housed in a typical office, storage, or public access facilities. In this instance, it houses the national treasures. Construction. Floor plans are attached above to include street maps. The brick and glass building contains 3 above ground and 1 below ground level. No on-site parking is available. The building sits on the National Mall and the site perimeter is flanked with city streets on all sides. Facility security level. The National Museum of American History is rated at Facility Security Level 3 due to its size, population, and symbolism. Population. On average, 11,000 people visit the National Museum of American History daily. The museum has approximately 350 staff members on site daily. General functions performed at the facility. The museum serves to educate the public on the history, peoples, and heritage of the United States of America. The museum functions to display, preserve, and house national treasures. Essential function. The museum serves no essential function, but rather a symbolic function of educational and preservation value. Utilities. Power, Pepco, 202-833-7500. Water, WASA 202-354-3600. Gas, Washington Gas 707-750-1000. Internet, Comcast 202-635-5100. Phone, Verizon 800-837-4966. And sewer, WASA 202-354-3600. If facilities of water, power, or sewer are interrupted, the museum will close until services are restored. If internet or phone services are interrupted, backup systems are in place. Backup communications are operational and available to be in service. Power, gas, and water main shutoffs are located in the lower level in the riser room. General facility description. Leaser's name, National Museum of American History. Contact number 202-633-1000. Leaser's address, 1300 Constitution Avenue Northwest. Leaser's city, Washington, D.C. State, not applicable, zip 20560. Building management name, Smithsonian Institute. And the building management point of contact is Bob Jones, title Chief of Security. His contact number is 202-633-3960 with an email address of bob.jones@smithsonian.museum.gov. Total number of floors above ground 3 and total number of floors below ground 1. Total number of occupants in the building and in the component space, 1,500. And total number of daily visitors for building and space, 11,000. General hours of operation for the building and the component space, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Noted that it is closed on December the 25th and noted that there are after-hours events as scheduled. Distance in feet from the building to the nearest public street, 200. Distance in feet from the building to the nearest public on-street parking, 200. And distance in yards from the building to the nearest public parking lot, 528. Facility structure information. Walls of brick and concrete with poured foundation, extensive glass exterior. Building facade, brick walls with large glass windows. Roles and responsibilities. Security managers, Fred Matthews, 202-574-2345, Sherry Drummer, 202-574-1432, and Joe Wells, 202-687-9087. Communication, Susan Phillips, 202-654-9876. Media Specialist, John Peters, 202-456-2987. Chief Technology Officer, Rick Lewers, 202-678-6565. Educational Services, Misty Roberts, 202-567-4563. Special Events, Deborah Winters, 202-765-2345. And Archives, 202-567-3498. Security Organization, the Smithsonian Institute Office of Protection Services maintains responsibility for physical security at the facility. Risk management strategy. Natural, we have snow and ice, which is a seasonal moderate risk. Thunderstorms and lightning, a moderate risk. Hurricanes, seasonal low risk. And tornadoes, low risk. National Weather Services will be utilized to watch and assess for possible natural threats. Reduction of hours of operation and closures will be used to mitigate risks to employees and the public. Lower level rooms will be used for safe rooms for weather-related evacuations. Man-made. Crime, a moderate risk, and terrorism, moderate risk due to symbolic value. Airport security procedures will be required for all who enter the premises, including volunteers, visitors, or staff. Bags are subject to inspection at all times. Accidental, visitor, staff injury, or illness. Security staff will be properly trained for basic first aid response and CPR. AEDs will be located on all levels near stairs and elevators. Staff will be trained in proper body mechanics and fall prevention strategies. Security countermeasures. In the event of a potential threat, security will go to alert status. If the threat progresses to active threat, security will impose active status. When the event has passed, security will go all clear status. Designated safe rooms are accessible on all floors. Safe rooms have doors that close, no windows, and a secondary exit point. Security of facility exterior areas, public areas outside the building. Security at all pedestrian entrances. Public entrances are limited to 2 access points. Number 2, metal detectors and x-ray machines at pedestrian public entrances. And number 3, employee entrance to have metal detectors and x-ray machines. Security at vehicle entrances. Parking is off-site. Number 2, vehicles for museum artifacts drop-off and removal will be scheduled and subject to inspection by facility security, with drivers being screened and identification validated. Number 3, security officers and or security devices will be used at loading docks. Cameras will be in use and facing windows, doors, utility grates, and air intakes at or near ground level. Building perimeter inside and out will be zoned continually throughout the day and night. Buildings should be swept and secured at close each evening. Any unusual occurrence should be investigated and documented. Security of facility interior areas, public areas inside the building, excluding critical areas. Security is positioned stationary at entry points. Security personnel is monitoring the cameras at all times. With an open access to the museum, Security personnel operate in a zone rotation. Mail is routed throughout the mail room for clearance. Security of critical restricted areas, limited access or exclusionary zones. Limited and excluded access zones are clearly marked in a lower level in floor 3. Access control procedures will consist of locked doors and alarms. Countermeasure maintenance, repair, and testing. Security systems to be monitored daily. System diagnostics to be performed and logged in Security Office Maintenance Logbook. Alarm system to be tested monthly on first Wednesday of month and recorded in Alarm Maintenance Logbook in Security Office. Backup lights and security systems to be tested monthly on first Wednesday of month and recorded in Backup Maintenance Logbook in Security Office. Medical detectors, systems, diagnostics to be tested monthly and recorded in Metal Detector Logbook kept in Security Office. All manufacturer maintenance and repair should be followed as outlined by manufacturer. All records are to be kept on file for 3 years. Incident response management. Describe procedures for responding to security incidents and emergencies. Reporting. The museum staff or visitor can utilize 911 to notify of an emergency. The museum also has an intercommunication capability on site and to fellow Smithsonian Institute museums. The museum is fully staffed by the Smithsonian Institution Office of Protection Services. Notification. The museum is equipped with a broadcast system that can be used to alert the entire building or specific area. NTAS also can alert the Smithsonian Institute of impending or credible threats. The officers at the museum are able to communicate through their comm system. Response. Chain of command will be unified command with Smithsonian Institution Office of Protection Services, DC Law Enforcement, Fire Department, and EMS. Response will be scalable based on the incident. Recovery. Normal operations may only be resumed after the interior and exterior of the facility has been deemed operational and safe by the Smithsonian Institution Office of Protection Services. Documentation. Incidents are documented on the Smithsonian Institute Secure Network Reporting System using pre-formatted templates. The CEO, Regent Board, DHS, and Smithsonian Institute Office of Protection Services has the authorization to access reports. Facility-specific policies. Visitors to the museum are allowed only in areas designated as visitor areas. Visitors are not allowed in storage, office, education, or other marked areas without supervision or express purpose. Special events. Additional officers will be on site for after-hour events. After-hour event attendees will be prevented from roaming the museum and sequestered to the areas pertaining only to the event. Airport security procedures will be used for all participants to include caterers, staff, visitors, promoters, media, and dignitaries. Media will be screened by the Legal and Communication Department prior to the engagement. Information security. As a federal museum, all non-classified information is at public disposal. Cybersecurity. Lawrence B. Loers, the Chief Technology Officer or the current Chief Technology Officer, will work in collaboration with the Smithsonian Institution Office of Protection Services. Vital records of national value will have cybersecurity protected by firewalls and kept with backup on an off-site location. Cybersecurity measures will be implemented to protect password and security clearance areas. Government property. In threat situations, building will be closed and locked. Building will be under constant surveillance using CCTV. Round-the-clock security will be provided by the Smithsonian Institution Office of Protection Services. All incoming and outgoing visitors and staff will be screened with airport security. Bags, strollers, wheelchairs, and personal effects are subject to inspection at all times. Disposal and destruction of property will be subject to congressional laws. Pilferage and unlawful destruction will be subject to prosecution to the fullest extent of the law. Training. Individual training competencies will be ongoing computer-based learning and yearly simulation checkoffs performed on-site in an after-hours training environment. Exercises. Yearly full-scale training will take place in conjunction with National Park Services, local law enforcement, and the Department of Homeland Security. Due to the public nature of the museum, full-scale training will take place after hours. Training will begin with a logistics briefing and include role-play actors as museum visitors. Evacuation, active shooter, and mass casualty scenarios will be implemented. Debriefings will follow each scenario. Functional training situations will be facilitated monthly to practice individual emergency events such as emergency situation, unlawful entry, fire evacuation, and other threats. Monthly training topics will be rotational and involve the Office of Protection Services agenda. Agenda will include briefing, exercise, and a debriefing. Exercises can be coordinated and conducted in conjunction with OEP requirements. Plan review. The plan will undergo yearly review by the Smithsonian Institution Office of Protection Services. The plan will be presented and adopted by the Board of Regents and the Secretary of the Smithsonian, who is the Chief Executive Officer or CEO. Resource support. Funding is secured through the federal government, which is allocated through Congress. Additional resources are secured through personal donations and memberships to the Smithsonian Institute. This is approved by Lori Coward, designated official of the Smithsonian Institution's Office of Protection Services.